So,
I want to get back into ground beef.
Okay.
Go for it.
So with meat.
My favorite thing is meat.
Yeah, me too. So with
Same.
beef specifically, just like us, so beef crawling with bacteria all over our bodies, which is good, right? But the word bacteria, unfortunately, has a negative connotation. We have a lot of bacteria in this, and our guts are filled with bacteria. That's why antibacteria and antibacterial medications, you really don't want to take unless you're like in a life-threatening situation, because it can kill off a lot of bacteria internally, and your gut biome needs that bacteria to properly process things, not just like digest, but like pull nutrients out of food so that you can actually function properly. And that's its own cup of coffee. But that being said, when it comes to ground beef, just like us, crawling with bacteria, the outside of not ground beef, but beef in general, has bacteria on it, right? And that bacteria does have the possibility to get you sick because your body isn't used to that bacteria, or some of the bacteria could be malicious bacteria, stuff that's not good for you. So with beef, you see people sear steaks, right? Well, that high heat's going to obviously kill off a lot of bacteria. And in killing off a lot of that bacteria, it ends up becoming almost to the 99% safe for you. But what's really crazy and awesome about red meat specifically is everything inside is actually sterile. So red meat at that internal area, totally fine to eat. Our bodies actually are able to, for the most part, if you have proper functioning gut biome, process that meat without any issues, and you can be fine. And in some cases, it's actually easier for your body to process red meat that is a little bit on the rarer side, because it can break it down. There's stuff to break down. Stuff that's more cooked, it's just harder. Stays in there for a longer time. Ground beef, on the other hand, though, you imagine that steak, right? I wish I could visually show you guys, but you take that steak, you put it in a grinder.
Weren't we supposed to have
We were supposed to have beef right here, yeah.
Somebody dropped, our production company dropped the ball.
I think someone ate the beef. Where's the beef? No, so you take the beef.
That's been a long damn time since I've heard that reference, so thank you for bringing it back.
Dude. So you take the beef, you throw it into a meat grinder, and now there's no telling where the bacteria beef is and where the sterile beef is. And so when it comes to ground beef, there is a lot higher chance of that bacteria being somewhere in the raw state, right, before you cook it at 165 degrees. So there's a chance for you to potentially get sick. Now, we live in a very, very rich, in a very, very privileged country. We have extremely high standards when it comes to meat, and the chances in our westernized world that we are going to get sick from ground beef are very low. It's so much so that you can order that at a restaurant and they consider it a calculated risk, right? They say at your own, they don't need to say it so they don't get sued. But realistically, I mean, I can't tell you a time where I experienced food poisoning from ground beef, and I always order pretty rare. But yeah, so that's the difference between the two. And then there's tartare, which is raw. But tartare usually has been prepared in sub-zero type of situation. So it is in a frozen state at some point, and that in itself could kill off some of that bacteria as well. So you're putting it into a little bit more. But again, it falls into that calculated risk category. Right. So when it comes to burgers, the safest way to eat a burger is medium to medium well. But
both hands or just one?
No hands.
No hands. That's the safest.
That's the safest. And then when it comes to steak, you can just, blowtorch and then squeeze it, and you should be good.
I always used to order my steaks blue rare, usually.
Yeah.
Blue. And those were and people were disgusted by it. And I was
What's blue?
Blue is where
basically rare.
Yeah. You sear it on each side, and then it's like you open it up, it's still cold in the middle.
Yeah.
So
Sorry about the face.
That was plenty of judgment.
Yeah. It would be fine. Yeah.
No, you eat a lot of burgers. We've established that, or you used to eat a lot of burgers.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a better. So the question is then, how do you order your burger? Did you know any of this?
No, I mean, I know medium rare to if it's a good steak, I'll order it that way.
Yeah.
Burgers, I don't think, usually medium. I like it a little bit pink, but not a lot, because to me, beef like that is a lot more gamey, and I don't like a ton of that. So yeah, especially, I think I got a bison burger recently, and then I got into a whole thing of buffalo burger versus bison burger. My understanding is that they use the words interchangeably, but I believe they're two different animals upon researching.
Okay, what was your research then? Because I have an idea, but I don't have an emphatic yes.
So my research led me to believe that they are two different animals.
Wikipedia doesn't count.
It wasn't. It was just a Google front page.
Oh boy.
So you didn't even go down the Wikipedia hole.
I'm fact checking.
Okay.
Please
All right,
do.
all right.
Yeah.
But my understanding is that bison and buffalo are two different animals. However, here we use the words interchangeably. Which one we get our meat from, I still don't know. But what I ordered, I know it's called a bison burger, and it was like a lot of animal.
Really?
Flavor.
I prefer it.
And I like to I want to eat good, clean, lean meat, whatever. But or not necessarily always lean. I know that's like where the juicy flavor comes from. But I thought I was making a good choice. Didn't taste like it.
That makes me so sad to hear that.
We traditionally we eat bison.
Yeah. That's what I get at Costco.
Buffalo looks like a yak.
Yes.
A big yak.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't really.
Yes, like water buffaloes
Yeah.
that I think,
Yeah. So, and my understanding was always that bison was more of the raised one, and buffalo is the wild one.
Yeah.
So Native Americans would have hunted buffalo, not bison necessarily.
Yeah. Bison is people eat bison. They're like, I'm eating wild game. It's like, no, bison is just like an oversized cow.
Yeah. You're eating a true free range cow.
Yeah. Much healthier and the better. There's going to be a better nutrient density in bison meat, but it's not a free range.
The fat profile is also a little bit different.
Yeah, it's not wild game.
In my case, so I have kind of a gallbladder issue. So if I eat too much fat, that's when, and I didn't realize that until one of my clients who's a nurse actually explained it to me. And so if I have too much fat, and I had always known for years and years and years, I would get sick immediately if I had, if I was eating like a ribeye, we'll say, and I couldn't eat a ribeye without getting sick. And it was like within 20, 30 minutes. And so I switched over to bison. And for whatever reason, I don't know, anecdotally speaking, the fat profile, I guess, is supposed to be different. So your body can handle a little bit better. If I eat too much of it, I will still get sick. But I can eat exponentially more bison meat in general than I can of beef.
What kind of sick? Top end sick or back end sick?
Back end.
Oh, okay.
Like
it just doesn't process it.
So the way it was explained to me was that the gallbladder basically is what helps with digestion. So if it's too much fat content, it just dumps itself.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, here you go. You're going to need this. And then you're like, oop.
Yeah.
And then you got to, you're in the bathroom 20, 30 minutes later.
Yeah. Because your body doesn't have the proper, because I believe gallbladder excretes a specific type of
enzyme.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it can break down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My chiropractor prescribed apple cider vinegar, simple apple to help gallbladder function.
So I'm actually glad that we touched on that because I have some apple cider vinegar in here. And thank you. When I was,
It's the most valet I've ever heard in my life. Good for you. Thank you.
Thank you.
We love the support here. That's our thing.
We do.
Yeah.
It was funny. One of my clients is very into like health and nutrition from like a homeopathic sense. And I asked her this morning, I said, what's your opinion of apple cider vinegar? I've always known it to be, it helps with insulin, right? So it helps, it's supposed to cut insulin response by, I think like 20%, I think is what the number was. So if you're eating a bunch of carbs, you take the apple cider vinegar beforehand and it's supposed to help with your insulin response to those carbohydrates. So it doesn't spike as high, right? So especially if you're doing intermittent fasting, it's a great idea to be on your apple cider vinegar, either the pills or whatever. But I have it in my drink because I know it helps with acid reflux is one of them. And it's because allegedly, again, this is all stuff I've researched over time. I don't know how much truth there is to it. I have found anecdotally it works for me. So that's why I'm like, hey, this is maybe a good idea. Hey, maybe try this. But what it does is it ends up helping with the amount of acid that's in your body. So acid reflux is usually your body trying to compensate, and so it creates more, or it starts flaring up, or there is more acid that is in your body to help take over whatever you're doing, or help you digest whatever it is that's going on. And so the apple cider vinegar helps tune that down because it's adding acid to the body, which you would think, hey, I'm over acidifying the body, it's just going to get worse, but it actually tones it down because it assists with digestion. That's how it was explained to me. I don't know how much of the truth there is to that. I just know that when I have acid reflux, which happens to me when I get older now, apparently. I didn't have acid reflux until I was 32 years old. But now that I have acid reflux occasionally, I'll take the apple cider vinegar, and it's better than Tums, honestly. And then I don't have to eat them.
That's really cool. That's a nice, natural solution.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
I feel like with the recent stuff I've been dealing with, a lot of my answer comes back to...
What have you been dealing with? Because we need to update everybody on what you're dealing with.
Well, everyone,